Hello students, myself Reshma Prashant Gosavi from Utkarsh Vidyalaya Virar. We are going to study a very interesting chapter today, that is from section Science 1 class 10. Name of the chapter is Periodic Classification of Elements.
Now, according to the period-wise distribution, we'll see here. In the first period, there are only two elements, that is hydrogen and helium, and henceforth, this period is considered to be the shortest period of classification. In the second period, which starts with lithium, we have 8 elements, which starts from lithium and ends with neon. Then in the third period, again it with 8 elements, which starts with sodium and ends with argon. So here in the second and the third period, there are totally 8 elements, and these two periods are called as the short periods. Now coming to the fourth and the fifth period. Here you can see the fourth period is having total 18 elements, and fifth period also has in total 18 elements. Henceforth, these two periods are called as the long periods. Then coming to the sixth and the seventh period. In sixth period, here you can see somewhere in between some elements are missing with the atomic numbers after 57 to 71. If you observe clearly at the base of the main periodic table, here you can see from 57 at the end to Lu up to 71. So these elements we have to add in the sixth period again. So total it makes number to 32 elements. Again, in the seventh period, if you see some elements missing from 89 to 103, which are available at the bottom of the main table, that is 89 and ending to 103. So these elements are considered to be the part of seventh period, again with 32 elements. Henceforth, these two are called as the longest period with the highest number of elements. Okay, now the elements which are after 57 to 71, these elements in all are called as lanthanides because these elements are from after lanthanum. Similarly, from atomic number 89 to 103, if you observe at the base of the main periodic table, these elements are called as actinides because they are after the element actinium. Okay, so these are lanthanides of period 6 and actinides of period 7. So this was the basic classification of the periods. Now here if you see, there are in all total 7 periods, and if you see, the whole table is been divided again vertically also into total 18 groups. Okay, here if you count and see in continuation 1, 2, so it goes on and then 13 to 18. Okay, so these vertical columns are called as groups. Now, specific groups are having specific names. As seen, the first group which starts with hydrogen and ends with francium. These elements are called as alkali metals. Okay. Then, especially the elements from the second group starts with beryllium, and then these elements are called as alkaline earth metals. Okay. Then coming to the right side of the table, that is group number 17. The elements present especially in group 17 are called as halogens. Okay, and very important is the group number 18 element with helium, neon, argon, krypton, which are the noble gases. This group is specially called as a zero group. Okay, so we have studied about the period wise distribution of elements and group wise distribution of elements. Next is about the block wise distribution. Okay, Before going to the blockwise distribution, here a very important thing which we can see, that is there is a zigzag line in between this block. Okay. Now here if you see on the left hand side, this zigzag line is dividing the whole table into two parts. On the left hand side, metals, on the right hand side, non-metals, and the zigzag line, the border of the zigzag line is enclosing the elements called metalloids. So metals on the left, non-metals on the right, and in between, which are connecting metals, are the metalloids. Okay, so this was the basic structure of the modern periodic table. Now not only this, the whole table is again classified into again blockwise. Here if you can see, here there is S block, then towards the right is the P block, at the center is the D block, and at the base of the main periodic table is the F block. Okay, so whole table again is been classified into four blocks: S, P, D and F. Just now we can go to the important points of the blockwise distribution. Okay, now as said, the modern periodic table is again divided or classified into four blocks. We can see here the S and the P block. S block, it includes group 1 and group 2. We have seen that in the periodic table, on the left hand side, only with two groups is the S block. On the right hand side, the P block, it includes group number 13 to group number 18. Okay, then secondly, it contains elements with one or two electrons in the outermost shell. S block elements, all the elements are having either one or two electrons in their outermost shell. Then in P block, it contains elements with 3 to 8 electrons in its outermost shell. So when it starts from group 13 to 18, it concludes that it is having 3 to 8 electrons in their penultimate shell. The third point of S block, all the elements in S block are metals. Then all the elements, either they have, all the elements in the P block have metals, non-metals or metalloids also. So it is a mixture of all the three types of elements. Then fourth point, that is elements have their outermost shell incomplete. That means if only one shell is incomplete, then such elements are called as normal elements. And in P block, elements having their outermost shell incomplete are called normal elements. But this is not applicable for the group 18 or say 0 group, as their last shell is completely filled. That means which group are we talking about? Which contains helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, etc. Okay, so this is the S and P block distribution. Just we will go back again. Here you can see S block, then P block, S block having one electron in the outermost shell, and P and in the second group 2 electrons in the outermost shell. Here if you see in the P block, from 13 to 17, the number of electrons in the outermost shell will be 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And in the last one, it will have 8 electrons. Okay, so is it understood? This was regarding the S and P block. So both of them are said to be normal elements except the group 0. Okay, then coming to the next distribution, that is D and F block. Here if you see the first point of D block, it includes group 3 to group 12, which is at the center of the main periodic table. Okay, now the position of the F block is that they are placed at the bottom of the main periodic table, where we had seen the lanthanides and actinides. Okay. Second point in the D block is elements in this block have last two shells incomplete. So whatever elements are present at the center of the main periodic table have their last two shells incomplete. And in F block, if you see, the elements in this block have last three shells incomplete. So because of this incomplete number of shells, they are named by different names. So D block elements are also called as transition elements, and F block elements are also called as inner transition elements. So this is one more name along with the lanthanides and actinides. So they are named because of the incomplete number of shells. Just we'll have a look at the main periodic table. Here you can see the D block, which starts from the third and ends to 12, and then here at the end F block. So all these elements are having their last two shells incomplete, hence called as transition elements, and here all these elements are having their last three shells incomplete, henceforth they are called as the inner transition elements. Okay, so I think so the point is clear about the classification of the elements according to the modern periodic table, that is period wise, group wise, and the last one, that is block wise. Now here one more thing which you can easily conclude, that is if you go to the first period or the second period, what you can observe is, now here if you see the second period, that is lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. Here you can see the configuration of lithium is 2,1, beryllium is 2,2, boron is 2,3, carbon is 2,4. That means all the elements are having only two shells with them, and henceforth they are being placed in the second period. Okay, if you compare and see the third period elements, that is sodium, magnesium and so on. Sodium, whose electronic configuration will be 281, magnesium 282, aluminium is 283, silicon is 284. That means it is understood that all these elements are having three shells along with them. So as they are having three shells with them, henceforth they are placed in the third period. So what do we conclude from this? That the number of electrons in their outermost shell is showing the period number. Okay, then how do we identify the group number? As you can see here, the first group, that is hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, all of them are having one electron in their outermost shell, and henceforth they are being placed in group 1. Secondly, the elements in group 2 have two electrons in their outermost shell. So from this we can conclude that the valency is indicating the group number, and number of electrons in the outermost shell is indicating the period number. Okay, so period wise, group wise and the block wise distribution is clear. Now the next part, that is from here we will go to the valency, then metallic and non-metallic character and the atomic size. Please add this video of mine which I have shown in the diagram in a separate video. Please connect this after the last slide. From here we can conclude from the video that when we observe the valency which goes on decreasing from left to right up to 4, and then it goes on increasing and then up to 0. Now, about the atomic radius. When we observe the elements from left to right in a period, the atomic radius goes on decreasing, and in a group, that is from top to bottom, the atomic radius goes on increasing. Then, second point is about the metallic and non-metallic character. In a period, we can see that the metallic character goes on decreasing and non-metallic character goes on increasing. Then in a group, metallic character goes on increasing and non-metallic character goes on decreasing. Okay, so this is in short the summary of the periodic trends which can be seen in a period and in a group. Now, whenever we observe the elements in a period or in a group, what we see that the properties of the elements in a period, the neighboring elements are very much similar in their properties. And but in a group also they are having the same valency, henceforth the chemical properties of the elements are also same, nearly same or similar to each other, and so they are placed in the same group. Now coming to the last part of the lesson, that is about the halogens. Here you can see that the halogens are having a special group 17. That is, gradation can be seen in fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and all. But that gradation is regarding the physical state of matter, in which fluorine and chlorine are in gaseous form, bromine is in the liquid form, and iodine is in the solid form. Okay, so here we conclude with the lesson. I think so the classification of the elements are clear to you. Thank you.
So in this topic, we are going to study about the periodic trends in the modern periodic table. Okay, in that the first point comes at, or the first subtopic is about valency. Now exactly valency is what we have studied already last year, that is the combining capacity of an element. Or valency can be detected by the number of valence electrons present in the penultimate shell or the outermost shell. Here, if we observe the second period elements, we can see lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. And these are the atomic numbers of all the elements. According to that, the configuration gets distributed into the orbits or the shell. So lithium is having the configuration 2 and 1. Likewise, beryllium as 2 and 2. Likewise, carbon as 2 and 4, oxygen 2 and 6, fluorine 2 and 7, and neon 2 and 8. Okay, so according to the definition, valency of lithium is 1, then valency of beryllium is 2, boron is 3, carbon is 4, nitrogen is 3 again, oxygen is 2, fluorine is 1, and the neon is 0. That means what conclusion we can make from this is that the valency of the element from lithium to carbon, it increases from 1 to 4. And then after carbon, it decreases from 3 to 1, and lastly it ends to 0. This is what we can see in the periodic trends. So as the period concludes further or continues further, the valency up to carbon increases from 1 to 4 and then it decreases from 4 to 0. Now the next subtopic is about the atomic size. Exactly what is atomic size? It is the distance between the center of nucleus and the outermost shell. Okay, that is what is atomic size. Now here you can see the atomic size of various elements. First element we will talk about lithium. It is the distance from the center of nucleus and the outermost shell. Okay, then same with boron. This distance from the center of nucleus to the outermost shell. Here if we observe the atomic size, all the elements are having only 2 shells with them. That means, according to the idea, we can conclude that all are having the same atomic size. But this is not the case. What happens is that in every outermost shell, the number of electrons goes on increasing. So when it goes on increasing, the attraction between the nucleus and the outermost shell also increases. So what will happen is the nucleus will attract with that much power of attraction to the electrons. And so what will happen, as the attraction increases, the outermost shell is pulled towards the inner side, and henceforth the atomic size is decreased when we observe the elements from left to right in a period. Now this happens in every period. This was regarding the second period. And so we can conclude that atomic size in a period decreases from left to right. Okay. Now about the third subtopic, that is the metallic and non-metallic character. In the structure of modern periodic table, we have already studied that the metals are being placed towards the left hand side, non-metals towards the right hand side. So it makes the idea clear that metallic property will go on decreasing when we observe any period from left to right. Okay, so metallic character over here, even if we see the second period, lithium, beryllium, boron, all these are metal, but the character goes on decreasing in a period. And here, if we see nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, these are all non-metallic elements, henceforth the non-metallic character goes on increasing. Now, why this happens? If we observe the number of electrons in the outermost shell, of course, the attraction, as said earlier, is more. So here, the metals are interested to donate the electrons. Now, when the attraction increases, that is, when if we see the boron or nitrogen or neon, what happens is, here the number of electrons are increased. So according to that, the attraction also increases. Then it becomes very difficult for the element to lose any number of electrons. Henceforth, they are in a condition to accept the electrons. Hence, the valency also goes on decreasing. So it's better when we compare both the stages that here also, to complete the octet state, either they have to accept 5 electrons or it can donate. So in both the cases, the energy lost by that particular element when it is compared, of course, it better becomes easier for it to donate 3 electrons, either to accept 5 electrons. Henceforth, the metallic character goes on decreasing from left to right, and then non-metallic character goes on increasing from carbon to neon. Okay, this happens in a period, and in all the period it is gradually continued in the same way. Now we will see about the group formation. Here you can see an example of first A group. Here are some of the elements like hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, etc. Here if we see, the atomic number of hydrogen is 1, that means the configuration is 1. Then lithium, whose configuration is 2, 1. Sodium 2, 8, 1. Potassium 2, 8, 8, 1. So if we compare and see, all the outermost shells are having only 1 electron in their last shell. That means this number will indicate their group number. As all the elements are having only 1 electron in their outermost shell, hence they are placed in the group 1A. Then here if we see hydrogen, which is having only 1 shell. So valency here in a group indicates the group number. Okay. Now about the second point, that is the atomic size. Atomic size, when we observe from top to bottom, what happens is, here we can see for hydrogen there is only 1 shell. For lithium, it increases to 2. Then for sodium, it becomes 2 and plus 1, 3. For potassium, it increases by 4. So it is clear that the distance between the center and the outermost shell will go on increasing. So atomic size here will go on increasing. Okay, so atomic size in a group from top to bottom it increases. Just exactly opposite what happens in the period. Now coming to the last subtopic, that is metallic and non-metallic character in a group. Here in a period metallic character goes on decreasing, but exactly opposite happens in a group. Metallic character goes on increasing and non-metallic character goes on decreasing. Okay, so according to this, we can understand the valency, the atomic size, as well as the metallic and non-metallic character in a group as well as in a period.